17th century, Amsterdam is the place to be. Its streets are busy with the hustle and bustle of merchants and tradesmen. It's a Hollandish accent mixing with that of the Flemish dialect, the Antwerp refugees who settled there. The Protestants, the Huguenots, the Jews from the Iberian Peninsula coming to join the German Ashkenazi Jews. It is a place where culture and art meets. It is a place where the free thinkers from London, from Great Britain, move to write their books of philosophy and print them, where back at home it's not allowed. It is the place where the family of Richard Haka settles, and he built his instruments. I do not know if Richard Haka knew the ancient Persian stories, but as music travels, so do stories. So it is very possible that one of the migrants took one of the stories of Rumi Mevlana, the same one who wrote about the lamenting reed, and this story was whispered in his ear. There is a story that says that once there was a merchant. And this merchant, he had a beautiful, precious parrot. A parrot who lived in a cage and sang with such a clear voice that whenever something bothered him, he only had to be in that room for a moment and the sorrow would just vanish. And the merchant has to go on a long trip. He has to go to India for business. But he asks his relatives, his family, what they would like from India. And he also asks the parrot. And the parrot says, me, living in this golden cage, what can you bring me from India? But if you see my family, just tell them that I miss them. Tell the wild, free parrots that I miss them. And the merchant says that he will do so, and he travels to India and he does his business. And he sells and he buys also everything that he promised his son and his daughter and his wife and his cook and his gardener and everyone else. And on the last day of his business trip, he walks into the forest and he sees a big tree, and the tree is filled with the wild parrots. And they're singing and flying about. And he asks them to listen for a moment. He says, I come from far away, and with me lives one of you. A gentle parrot with a beautiful voice who misses you. And the parrots, they're silent. And the parrots, they start to get upset. They tell the merchant, you think this is a good thing to tell us? We're upset that you have one of us in captivity. We're not happy at all. This greeting of him means nothing to us. And they're so upset that one of them falls out of the tree and dies. So the merchant goes back home. And he doesn't know if he should tell his parrot, but he does. And then when the parrot hears it, he becomes so upset that the news of his captivity killed one of his relatives, that he trembles and falls to the bottom of the cage and is as dead. And the merchant opens the door of the cage and he takes out the parrot and he puts him on a windowsill and he considers and thinks what to do with the dead parrot. But then suddenly the parrot jumps up and he flies off into the garden, and the merchant runs after him and he says, you parrot, you're still alive. How did this happen? How can you be alive? And the parrot says, well, you brought my news to my relatives in India. And they told me how to escape my captivity. It was my singing that held me captive. And I realized I need to die to be free. Maybe the Richard Haka flute is dead, being kept in the golden cage that is the Rijksmuseum. But maybe it needed to die, to be sampled, to be liberated, to be put into the digital world of the iwi, and for its songs to spread their wings and fly.